Chapter 71 Killing and Watching. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Where is this place? Hachinos is a paradise for pirates. How can you, a nobleman, be allowed to be so arrogant? Besides, Titan didn't seem to take them seriously at all. Which pirate who dares to come to this island is not a proud and arrogant person? Whether they are new pirates or native pirates of Hachinos, the overall strength of the pirates on Hachinos Island is stronger. Even if they are not selected to join the Rocks pirates, they naturally have a sense of superiority when facing foreign pirates. The foreign pirates are all ambitious and want to carve out their own world on this pirate island, whether it's to make a name for yourself or recruit a strong crew. Hachinos is the best choice. Hades would not give them face and twisted his neck twice. Stretch your muscles while you're at it. He is also ready to take action. This island is his real battlefield. He came to the sea always to become stronger. Reach the pinnacle of this sea instead of playing some pirate games. The port of Hachinos is crowded with pirates coming from all directions. If there is any huge movement, the news will soon spread throughout the island. Hades and Titan undoubtedly made things worse. Fuck them all. Kill them both. A group of pirates formed a circle, forming an open arena, and pirates were constantly attacking Hades and Titan with long knives. Each pirate roared excitedly, as if Hades and Titan were targets for execution. However, Titan and Hades are too strong. Facing the incoming pirates, Titan smashed them to death one by one, or knocked them away. Hades was like dancing in the wind, dodging attacks one after another with ease, and then struck a fatal blow. Swinging nightmares harvest the wheat fields. The pressure brought by the pirates in Hachinos is greater than that of pirates in other places, and they obviously cannot threaten Hades and Titan. Time keeps passing. The originally clamoring pirates gradually fell silent and looked at the two figures in the center of the battlefield. Shock and fear could not help but show up in my heart. Aren't these two guys tired at all? For 2 full hours, Titan and Hades carried out a non-stop killing spree. More than 2,000 pirates have died. The corpses are piled up in hills, and blood is flowing on the ground. The number of pirates who dared to rush forward was getting smaller and smaller, and a vacuum gradually formed. After recognizing the terrifying strength of these two people, I thought I could kill them with their numerical advantage, but the auras of Hades and Titan did not change at all. Titan has plenty of physical strength, and this is just a warm-up for him. Hades's body is also powerful, and more importantly, his control over his body can avoid unnecessary physical exertion. The final point is that there is no one among these pirates that they can take seriously. Let's end this boring farce. Hades said coldly, looking around. No pirates dared to charge forward. No matter how many more people come up, they will inevitably die. I saw Hades holding Nightmare in his hand and picking up the handle of the knife. The air condensed at this moment, and as the sickle was swung, a strong and disturbing aura emerged from the sharp blade. The slashes symbolizing death continued to spread in all directions. What followed was a growing vortex of death. Death hunt. A cold voice echoed in the air. In just a few seconds, the death vortex completely enveloped an area of several hundred meters centered on Hades. The rich power of death, accompanied by the high-speed rotating death vortex, constantly invaded the bodies of those pirates. All pirates who come into contact will meet their end. No. A pirate's painful wail, his voice uncontrollably hoarse, weakened, unable to resist this terrifying force. He watched helplessly as his body continued to age. The vitality is constantly being eroded and devoured. His body was wrinkled and emaciated, and he died with a look of despair on his face. And this is not over yet. The strength of the dead is still being eroded. The flesh and blood gradually disappears, leaving behind the white bones, and the bones then crack, turning into dust and dissipating in the wind. The death hunt inherited from Jaeger finally reappears in this sea. The shock it brings is endless. In the blink of an eye, thousands of lives disappeared before their eyes. Except Hades and Titan, all life within the affected area was wiped out. It's hard to imagine what it feels like to see someone disappear in a short period of time, as if they had never been there. For the vast majority of pirates, it is fear, absolute fear. The most terrifying thing about these two people was never the cruel guard, but the purple-haired noble. Is this the power of the death fruit? In the distance, a blond young man was a little shocked. What? Newgate, do you want to give it a try? This guy will be on our ship soon. You can learn about it in advance. Shiki looked at Newgate and smiled. Spare me, this ability is too overbearing. I need to find those seniors to understand his ability. The young man named Edward Newgate was no fool. How could he be a pawn used by Shiki to test Hades? Life is too worthless in front of the fruit of death. After a person dies, there is still a body, with flesh and blood, and there is proof of his existence, but in front of the death fruit, everything on the body will disappear. Facing him was like facing death. Edward Newgate already felt threatened by this power. Although he is very confident in his own strength and can be domineering, he can resist this terrible force to a certain extent. But before he has enough information, he will not take risks easily, and he has no reason to take action. Moreover, Hades looks young and is not weak in strength. Compared with Hades, Newgate and Shurji can only be regarded as wild beasts. In the beginning, being able to become famous in the sea mainly relied on one's own talent. It wasn't until they joined the Rocks Pirates that their potential truly exploded. Not only is the pressure brought by the environment, various practice manuals can make up for their original foundation, but also provide them with access to higher-end power. Although Lox D. Jiback would not teach them, it was common for certain pirates who had good relationships to communicate with each other, and Hades has been exposed to the most elite education since he was a child, taught by famous teachers, laid the solid foundation, and grew faster than Newgate and the others. The difference in growth environment is enough to shorten the age gap. If they are the same age, Hades is definitely stronger than them. The same example is the future Sea Emperor Red Hair Shanks, the third admiral of the Navy. The solid foundation laid by the teachings of Rayleigh, with the guidance of the famous teacher Arizifa, one can avoid many detours and realize potential into strength as quickly as possible. Chapter 72 Provocation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. They all seem to be here. Shurji looked into the distance and saw many familiar figures appearing. Watching from a distance, within 2 hours, things had already become a big deal. The entire Rocks Pirates knew about the arrival of Jaeger's son on the island. The curious crew members came to watch. Facts have proved that their choice was not wrong, otherwise they would have missed a good show. A group of weak pirates couldn't force the two of them to show their true strength. Even after fighting for 2 hours, one can see the deep connection between the two of them. The blooming of the power of the death fruit in the end undoubtedly injected a heart booster into their hearts. I really miss it. Some of the old men of the Rocks Pirates, like John, Silver Axe, and Wang Ji, who joined the Rocks Pirates in the early days of their establishment, have seen how terrifying Jaeger is. No one could match him except Lox D. Jiback. Looking at the potential that Hades has shown now, he definitely has the potential to grow into the next Jaeger. You can even clearly see the shadow of Jaeger. Such an amazing performance made some people understand that it was impossible to deal with Hades. Secretly, with Hades' strength, he already has the qualifications to become a cadre. Although there is still some gap between him and Shiki and several new generation monsters in Newgate, it is only a disadvantage due to his age. It won't take a few years for him to truly grow up and stand shoulder to shoulder with Shiki and the others until he becomes the core cadre of the Rocks Pirates, second only to Captain Rocks. As long as nothing happens, Hades will not die early. For the young monsters he likes, Rocks D. Jiback will protect them and grow up under his protection. Monsters are only real monsters when they grow up. John, Silver Axe, Wang Ji is like this. The same goes for Shirley, Edward Newgate, and Charlotte Lingling. There are also other monsters from the Rocks Pirates. It is precisely because of this that the strength of the Rocks Pirates has been increasing over the years, especially in terms of high-end combat power. Although I don't know if Lox D. Jiback is a talent or something else. What is his purpose? The Rocks Pirates are indeed a breeding ground for monsters, provided you can reach a level that makes the Rocks Pirates take a fancy to you, and even take the initiative to take out precious devil fruits to train you. It's wonderful. The girly version of Charlotte Lingling was looking at Titan excitedly. With an invulnerable body and a body as tall as hers, it was as if he saw another self. He and she were a perfect match. If they could give birth to an heir. Charlotte Lingling had the goal of establishing a kingdom early on, and also had the idea of establishing her own power. Unlike now that there is only one Edward Newgate, she, like Shiki, also wants other pirates to join her. It's a pity that she is a woman, and even if she is a monster, not many people are willing to be her subordinates. Many pirates are not willing to have a woman on their head. Seeing this, Charlotte Lingling changed her mind. Since no one was willing to be her subordinate, she would give birth to herself, as long as he has more children, establishes the Charlotte family, and when his children grow up, they will naturally have a place in the new world. With her strength, the children she gives birth to will definitely not be weak in the future, but she didn't take action, not because she didn't try, but because she was rejected too many times. Like John and Silver Axe, they all rejected her without hesitation, as did their contemporaries Edward Newgate and Shiki. How could they want to become Charlotte Lingling's reproductive tools? The children they gave birth to would not belong to them yet, and they would have countless more hats on their heads in the future. No one is stupid. After being rejected too many times, Charlotte Lingling did not give up her original idea, whether it was to establish the 10,000 kingdoms or the Charlotte family. However, she still needs stronger strength and stronger status. Since monsters like Shurji are not good, then we should find something worse. If it doesn't work, just use stronger ones. Titan has obviously become the target of Charlotte Lingling. The baguette on the side saw Charlotte Lingling's thoughts and couldn't help but sigh. The identity of Jaeger's son cannot be offended at first glance, but he has always listened to the legend of Jaeger. But since Charlotte Lingling wants to, he will try his best to help. For the 40-year-old baguette, whatever his original purpose, watching Charlotte Lingling grow up, now Charlotte Lingling is like his daughter in his eyes. Titan in the distance couldn't help but shudder. I have some doubts in my heart. What's going on? Why is it a little cold? While most of the pirates in the Rocks pirates recognized Hades, some people did not take Hades seriously. A pirate came out. This attracted the attention of many pirates. The madman Lehman, what is he doing out here? Something interesting is going to happen. The pirate who knew Raymond smiled like he was watching a show. As his name suggests, Lehman is a madman, very arrogant, but it is undeniable that Raymond is a powerful pirate, with a bounty of more than 200 million Baileys, and he is not a weakling in the Rocks pirates. The pirate named Raymond walked up to Hades with an arrogant smile on his face. He looked at Hades with eyes full of discrimination and deep jealousy hidden in his pupils. Kid, being powerful is nothing in the new world. As an old man, let me educate you well. Only domineering is everything. That I saw that Lehman's hands were black and translucent, wrapped in domineering energy, and then the armed domineering power continued to spread, covering his whole body. Lehman looked at Hades, feeling confident that he was fully armed. He really enjoyed the sight of eyes falling on him on such an occasion. He didn't notice Hades' increasingly cold eyes. There were also some disdainful and mocking looks from around me. He was extremely jealous of why Hades had such powerful devil fruit abilities. In his eyes, Hades hasn't even learned hockey yet, he just relies on the power of devil fruit. He had to fight against these ordinary pirates for 2 hours without stopping. I believe he could do the same with his own strength. Although the power of the death fruit is powerful, it can be completely resisted with the armament hockey. What about the son of Jaeger? If you don't learn domineering, you will not be my opponent after all. Raymond thought to himself, bursting out with astonishing speed, rushed towards Hades, and appeared on the side of Hades in a blink of an eye. He used his full strength to punch and defeated the son of Jaeger with his powerful domineering force, which served as a stepping stone for him. Chapter 73 Rocks D. Jiback joins the Rocks Pirates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This idiot. Idiot. He's dead. Little did Lehman know that his behavior was just a joke in the eyes of others. A purple shadow flashed past, and Hades held Nightmare in his left hand, easily blocking Raymond's punch. Before Lehman could react, Hades' right hand grabbed his head like a dragon's claw. The dark purple domineering energy covered Hades' right hand, flowing continuously, and the terrifying force clamped down on Lehman's head, not giving him any chance to resist. The severe pain made Lehman feel that his head was about to burst, and a fear of death surged into his heart. What gave you the illusion that I'm not domineering? A calm voice sounded in Lehman's ears. Strong hand cracks the skull. Hades didn't hesitate at all. He exerted force on his arms, and along with the strength of the Baji fist, the armed domineering force he unleashed directly invaded Lehman's body. Boom. Raymond's head exploded like a watermelon falling from the sky, blood and brains flying everywhere. The splashing liquid was directly eliminated by the power of death attached to Hades. and there was no unclean thing on his body at all, even Hades' hand. The foreign objects were completely eroded by the power of death. This performance once again shocked everyone. Although they guessed that Hades had awakened his haki, they did not expect that Hades' use of haki had reached this level. Many of their cadres have not learned how to express their domineering power externally and sabotage internally. The skills of internal destruction are out of reach for more people, and Hades has been able to master it skillfully. In terms of pure use of armament and haki, Hades is enough to rank among the top 3 in the Rocks pirates. Even the few kings can only flow and express their domineering power. The technique of domineering internal destruction is relatively advanced and is not of great importance to some people, because it can exert its greatest power in the hands of those with strong physical skills. If the enemy is holding a weapon, he will not be affected by the internal damage of haki because the enemy is not hit, and if you hold a weapon yourself, you won't be able to actually use this technique. To be honest, it is somewhat effective against Kaido, who turned into a beast, or a strong taijutsu player. Facing a swordsman like Shirji, it was very useless. If he could hit him, that would be another matter. Suddenly, Hades turned his head. A loud laugh familiar to everyone came. Boom! Boom! With the sound of footsteps coming, the hearts of many pirates beat. At the same time, what echoed in their ears was the terrifying domineering force, which brought tremendous pressure, making people tremble and fearful. Endless aura and domineering burst out crazily with laughter. The bright noon suddenly turned extremely dark, and the dark clouds turned into funnels that seemed to swallow up the entire island. Lox D. Jiback, the strongest man in the world, is here. After coming to this world for so long, this is the first time Hades has felt such terrifying pressure, which can already cause substantial harm. The ground was trembling and cracking appeared. One by one, the pirates fell to their knees, unable to get up. Rox is almost 3 meters tall, with red hair like an octopus, and is full of boldness and domineering, just such a person, relying on his own strength to suppress the entire world. I saw him walking step by step, crossing his chest with his hands and looking proudly at everyone, and finally set his eyes on Hades. Then, the targeted overlord-colored domineering energy fell on Hades. The terrifying aura contained an unquestionable domineering will to annex the world. Faced with the impact of the overlord's domineering energy, how could Hades show weakness? The same aura erupted from Hades's body, a terrifying aura like the underworld, and it also contained the will to be born as a king. Hades is the crown prince, the future king of the kingdom of Kronos. The destiny of the Tartarus family. How can you show weakness when you shoulder the mission of a country's future and hold the power of life and death for countless people? In terms of courage and ambition, Hades never loses to anyone. It's a pity that he is facing Rox D. Jiback, who is the strongest in the world now. Hades's courage was completely suppressed in all directions. However, surprisingly, Hades managed to withstand Rox D. Jiback's courageous suppression. Although he could only hold on to 1/3 of his own land, he was blocked from further oppression by Rox D. Jiback, like a castle in a storm, motionless as a mountain. Lox didn't take it too seriously. When he saw Hades holding on to his courage, his eyes showed satisfaction and he withdrew his courage. Hades, this should be the first time we meet. Next, you will be a crew member of the Rocks pirates. Rox confirmed the matter directly. I don't seem to have any reason to refuse. It took a lot of effort to get here. Hades chuckled. Facing Rox, he didn't seem to be under so much pressure. This scene seemed a bit weird in the eyes of others, but a few people know that the son of Jaeger has fully gained the approval of Captain Rox. Hades. Hades's name was known to everyone through Locke's mouth. No matter what, from today onwards, Hades officially becomes a member of the Rocks pirates. He is a titan. Is it okay to join him together? With great pleasure. Rox can naturally see Titan's potential, even better than the one next to Jaeger. If you can get one more top-level fighter, why not? With 2 more generals, the success rate of that plan will be higher in the future. Hades joined the Rocks pirates before it was time for the Rocks pirates to officially recruit. After all, Hades's performance has reached Rox's standard. Like a drop of water, Hades quietly blended into the Rocks pirates. There is no welcome ceremony. It is calm but not calm. The island of Hachinos is full of carnival all the time. Chapter 74 Exchange money to make friends. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A few days after successfully joining the Rocks Pirates, Hades was different from what others imagined, and Hades was very low-key. In addition to visiting the entire Hachinos, I only met 3 pirates. One is Edward Newgate, the future Sea Emperor Whitebeard and the strongest man in the world. Edward Newgate did not establish his own power within the Rocks Pirates. The dream of having a family is even more ridiculous in the eyes of other pirates. He sent most of the treasures he got back to his hometown, and it can be said that he was completely penniless. Without treasure, how could any pirate be willing to follow him? What's more, Edward Newgate has no such idea at present. Meeting Edward Newgate was actually an accident. While Hades was staying in a bar, Newgate himself came up with a bottle of wine, sat down opposite Hades and got close to him. The precise purpose is to drink alcohol without paying, and the bottle of wine he took was also bought from other pirates. After all, Hades is really rich, and his identity as son of Jaeger is backed by the superpower of the kingdom of Kronos. Regarding the identity and background of Hades, only a few senior officials knew about it. With the arrival of Hades, all these things were dug out. The first thing he did after joining the Rocks Pirates was to spend money to buy a luxurious villa in Hachinos. Of course, it costs money to live in Hachinos. There are various forces hidden behind various industries on the island, and these forces all surrender to the Rocks Pirates and have to pay protection fees. In other words, the entire island is the property of the Rocks Pirates. The development of the Rocks Pirates requires a lot of money. What can we do without money? Many people saw with their own eyes that Titan took out boxes of Baileys directly from his stomach, as if there was no limit. Just 2 days later, a money exchange opened in a very low-key manner. Undertake various gold exchange businesses and exchange valuable treasures and items into Baileys. Hachinos is the gathering place for the treasures of the New World, and countless treasures that have been plundered are gathered here. Exchanging these treasures for Bailey would be a big deal. On the same day, most of the money exchange houses in Hachinos announced their closure, leaving only a few. The price is fair and the exchange amount is higher than other gold exchange places, which naturally attracts the favor of many pirates. Pirates are all profit-seeking, so they can't leave a higher-priced place to exchange gold. 2 days later, the remaining money exchange offices also closed down one after another. At this point, only the newly opened gold exchange shop was left open on the entire island, which had monopolized the gold exchange business of Hachinos and bought several other gold exchange shops. Such a powerful method naturally caused controversy among others. You must know that most of the kings of the Dark World stand behind these gold exchanges. Only a few people know that there is the shadow of Hades behind this money exchange. I don't know how to make many dark kings surrender, but it also made those who knew it more fearful of Hades, which had some unfathomable meaning. Edward Newgate got the news from Ski. There is also some curiosity in my heart. In addition to drinking, I also have the idea of deliberately making friends. You must know that every time Hades orders some of the most expensive drinks at the bar, but Newgate can't afford to drink it, and it's even more reluctant to buy it. It usually drinks the cheapest ones. Those precious trophies and famous wines would not last long in his hands. As long as Hades is on the list, he will naturally drink as much wine as he wants in the future. Hades did not refuse Newgate's deliberate friendship. He didn't like a little money at all. After going back and forth, the two of them became familiar with each other. Newgate told Hades a lot about the internal news of the Rocks Pirates. Some of them Sharky had told him, but not nearly as much as Newgate had told him. The gold exchange was naturally opened by Hades. Victor, the King of Arms, one of the Dark Kings, was a core member of Netherworld and was secretly controlled by the Tartarus royal family. Just give other Dark Kings a batch of arms, or allow them to get a discount when buying arms. These Dark Kings will naturally give Victor this face and give up the market of Hachinos. Moreover, the benefits contained in exchanging gold are actually not large. It can only deceive newbies like the Straw Hat Pirates in the future. As for the pirates on Hachinos Island, none of them are veteran pirates, and there are even many vicious pirates that underground forces would not dare to offend. Sometimes the pele paid is higher than the value of the treasure received, which is completely a losing business. For Hades, this is completely profitable. As the sea continues to become chaotic, the world government will also issue more Baileys in order to alleviate financial pressure, which will lead to a decrease in the purchasing power of Baileys throughout the world. In other words, Bailey will continue to depreciate. The more Baileys you keep in your hands, the more you end up losing. In this way, world government may not be affected, but the civilians, various forces, and even the franchised countries using Bailey all over the world are completely losing money. The pirates were not greatly affected, because the Baileys in their hands could not be kept for long, and most of them would be spent within a short period of time. The Kingdom of Kronos exchanged excess Baileys for treasures and precious items through the gold exchange, so that the kingdom would not be affected by the devaluation of Baileys. In other words, it's a win-win situation. The other was Shiki, whom I met through Newgate. As for the third, Charlotte Lingling, she posted it on her own initiative, and her purpose was even stronger than that of Edward Newgate. That scorching gaze and greedy heart seemed to devour the Titan. How could Hades not know what Charlotte Lingling was thinking? Faced with her request, Hades undoubtedly refused for Titan. Even so, Charlotte Lingling gave up on the surface and became friends with Hades, but in fact she did not give up her pursuit of Titan in her heart. Of course, Hades couldn't hide this. It would also be good for him to get to know the future Emperor of the Sea, and Hades did not refuse. I have to say that the girly Charlotte Lingling is really beautiful, and she is the goddess in the hearts of many pirates. However, if you can only be a thief for 1,000 days, how can you prevent a thief for 1,000 days? Hades will one day deeply regret that he did not cut off contact with Charlotte Lingling. There are still a few days left before the Rocks Pirates' annual recruitment meeting. In the days of Hychinos, Hades and Titan did not give up on training their strength, play against each other, or against Edward Newgate, or even against Charlotte Lingling. Exercise, fight, hone your skills and develop your body's potential. The several naval warships docked were tools used by Hades and Titan for training. He was simply dragging the huge naval warship along with his own strength, and there were countless heavy objects inside the warship to increase the pressure. However, Hades always felt that some eyes were watching him secretly, and there was no hostility. In fact, Hades discovered them too. His father, the old subordinate of death god Jaeger. This is the legacy left to him by his father. For a crown prince like Jaeger, most of the subordinates he recruits are trained as retainers and will directly become a part of the Kingdom of Kronos in the future. Either join the army, join Hades, or escort the Kingdom of Kronos as a pirate. Several of them followed Jaeger before the establishment of the Rocks Pirates, and most of them joined Jaeger's protection when the Rocks Pirates were first established, excluding those who died fighting to avenge Jaeger after Jaeger's death. Those left behind are all absolute elites, well-known strong men among the Rocks Pirates. Even those young pirates, after 10 years of growth, are at least cadre-level pirates, if they have not fallen. Chapter 75 Karthus. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tyrant Bar, the Undertaker Calloway, and Blade Edge are all monsters with bounties exceeding 500 million Baileys. He has the same status as Edward Newgate and Sky in the Rocks Pirates. There is also Death Chanter Karthus, a superhuman sonic fruit-capable person with a bounty of 460 million belly, among the Rocks Pirates. These are the only 4 people who are still alive today and who followed Hades' father Jaeger before the Rocks Pirates were established, the rest of Jaeger's old group. As long as they are pirates who have not joined other big pirates, are mostly led by the 4 of them. This is Jaeger's influence in the Rocks Pirates, and he still retains his terrifying power today. In the future, it can be compared with the power controlled by a sea emperor. For Hades, it is entirely possible for him to conquer them. In this way, you can gain huge power in one fell swoop. If it is brought back to the Kingdom of Kronos, it will definitely enhance the kingdom's military strength. No matter what, in this sea, whether now or in the future, competition for hegemony will always be the theme. Even if you don't fight, you can't be without strength. In the Rocks Pirates, he also needs to master his own power. The first step in establishing his own power is to conquer his father's old tribe. With his current prestige, he is far inferior to other pirates in the Rocks Pirates. Since Hades didn't feel any ill will, it meant that he had a chance to conquer them. My previous performance has also been recognized by them to a certain extent. The only thing lacking now may be his own strength. The weak surrender to the strong. If there is no suppression by strength, how can others be willing to surrender to him? But Hades is not in a hurry. He still needs a few years to grow. The Rocks Pirates can still roam the sea for more than 10 years. It is now the year 1471 of the Hyuan era. The Rocks Pirates were destroyed in about 1485, so he has enough time to grow. The second phase of the Rocks Pirates' battle with the Navy and the world government has just begun. Before that, there was one person whom Hades was quite confident that he could conquer. That was Karthus the Death Chanter. a half-baked bard who thought he was an excellent bard, the most loyal servant and fanatical follower of Death Jaeger. While they were observing Hades, Hades was also secretly observing them. Karthus, whose heart was almost trembling with excitement, could not hide his hot gaze. The crazy worship that was close to faith seemed to be completely transferred to Hades after Hades appeared. Within Hades' range of emotion perception, Karthus's extremely fluctuating emotions were as dazzling as the sun. It all made Hades a little suspicious that as long as he appeared in front of Karthus, Karthus would bow to him without saying anything. With this first one, the rest will be easier. Karthus is the soul of Jaeger's old team, and he is powerful, second only to Baal, Calloway, and Echo. He was going to die for Jaeger at the beginning, and the Revenge Marine was second only to his mother, Nyx. Coupled with Nyx's activity in the past few years, there are actually many pirates involved in revenge against the Navy, and Karthus is one of them. His mother also told him that if he wanted to conquer his father Jaeger's old tribe, he should be the first to attack Karthus, with Karthus' influence. As his strength and status in the Rock's pirates improve, these old members will return to his protection. In this regard, Hades has a much greater advantage than Shiki. Even with great potential, Shiki is only the rising star of the Rock's pirates, not to mention the many monsters at the same level as him. The three seniors John, Silver Axe, and Wang Ji alone are stronger than him. They are only in their 30s now and have not yet reached their peak. If there are any potential stocks to be added, their priority must be higher at the moment. Where is Karthus? All it takes is a little inquiry to find out. There is a small and simple church at the foot of the mountain near a forest to the east of Hachinos. Against the backdrop of the setting sun, night falls, and Hades arrives quietly. The church did not have a door. Hades stepped in front of the church, and a dark and damp atmosphere hit his face. At first glance, the church was empty. The floor, chairs, and even the windows seemed to have been carefully cleaned. Hades knew clearly that Karthus was inside, and had even noticed the slightly excited look entering the church. Following his gaze, Hades saw Karthus, wearing a black robe, holding a Bible in one hand. He stood on the side of the pulpit. There are no decorations or carvings inside the church. It looks very simple and a little weird. Looking at Karthus, Hades felt that he was not a bard, but a priest and a believer. At this time, Karthus was not as crazy as Hades had felt before. He seemed a little calm, and his gaze towards Hades also seemed a little soft. This made Hades realize that it was not himself that Karthus was looking at before, but his father Jaeger. Clatter. Clatter. Accompanied by crisp footsteps, Hades continued to move forward along the center of the aisle, raised his legs, and stepped onto the high platform of the church, standing on the only light and shadow that falls on the high platform through the high windows in the church. My heart is silent and I turn to God, for my salvation comes from him. Karthus slowly approached, allowing Hades to see his appearance clearly. He was a tall, thin, long-haired young man with a somewhat pale complexion. He was actually close to 40 years old. I've been waiting for death to come. Karthus' words made Hades frown slightly. He did not want to be regarded as a substitute for his father Jaeger. Sorry, I'm not the god of death. Facing Hades' rejection, Karthus was not angry, but instead had a smile on his face. As long as I have needs, I have a reason to live. Satisfaction is death. The throne of death has arrived, and I will give everything I have to crown you. Karthus's intention of surrender is very obvious, but whose will does this represent? Is it his father Jaeger? Everything that belongs to me belongs to me. My destiny is in my own hands, and I will create it whether it is good or bad. Hades would not refuse the help his family gave him, but at this time, he was a little dissatisfied, because he was the king, always had been, and he didn't need to rely on others at all. He never wanted to live in the shadow of death. Invisible and terrifying domineering power erupted from Hades' body, exuding endless coercion in the air, perfectly controlled within the scope of the entire church. The terrifying aura like the netherworld merged with the fierce spirit of Hades, and the domineering will of the king was undoubtedly revealed. Chapter 76 Conquer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing Hades' words, Karthus grinned with excitement and silent laughter. After a long time, Karthus slowly knelt down in front of Hades and lowered his head. One hand grabbed Hades' palm and placed the Bible on Hades' palm. My lord, one day my life will reach its end, and you will be crowned king. Although Hades said so, it is also true that he is not the king yet, whether it's strength or influence. After all, he has not grown up. The expectations of his family and the kingdom have given him endless motivation, and he still needs time. In any case, Hades' goal was achieved. Karthus surrendered and became the first subordinate of Hades to subdue after coming to Hachinos. Hades also had an additional general under his protection. At some point, 3 figures appeared outside the church, namely Bar, Calloway, and Aggie. They had been paying attention to the news about Hades, and when they learned that Hades was heading in the direction of the church, they understood Hades' purpose. Witness the scene where Karthus surrendered to Hades. There are thousands of thoughts in my heart, my calm heart is stirring up countless waves, and my blood that has been dormant for many years is boiling. Leaving quietly, Karthus has surrendered. Are they still far away? Feeling the 3 people leaving, Hades smiled confidently. He knew he was safe. The inner emotional changes of the 3 people could not be concealed in front of him, and things went more smoothly than he expected. Congratulations, Your Highness, please let me persuade them to join your protection. There shouldn't be any accidents. Karthus stood up. He had known each other for many years, and he was very familiar with the auras of the 3 Baals. As a person with sonic fruit ability, he is like a humanoid radar, and he will detect the 3 of them as soon as they approach. After convincing the 3 of them, Karthus had great confidence. No, it's too early now. When I really reach that level, I will defeat them myself. Now, you are enough. Let them help me recruit potential subordinates. Hades shook his head and rejected Karthus' proposal. He hoped to truly defeat them on his own and then conquer them. Expanding his power too quickly is not a good thing for him, but he wants to develop steadily for a few years. With his current strength and influence, he is simply not enough to have such a powerful force, and it is very likely that he will cause others to target him. Moreover, the expansion of Baal's power is equivalent to the expansion of his strength, and they will eventually return to his control. The 3 of them are generals in the hands of their father, god of death Jaeger. They have extraordinary influence among Jaeger's old men and can summon most of the old men if they are willing. Moreover, as members who joined the Rocks Pirates earlier, their influence is greater than that of the newcomer Shurji. Yes, Your Highness. This is the king. Karthus sighed in his heart. At the same time, he also knew what he was going to do next. It was definitely a matter of communicating with Bar and the others. Since His Highness wants to stay dormant, let them develop their power. Help me guard the money exchange for the time being. Yes. Hades left and returned to his villa. He raised his head and looked at the bright moon in the sky. Things went much smoother than he expected. I don't know whether he underestimated his father's prestige or underestimated himself. Maybe it was both. The only thing that might have surprised him was that Karthus changed from a bard to a priest. No matter what, now he has truly established a foothold in the Rocks Pirates and has his own power. Even Karthus alone surpassed many ambitious pirates. Little did they know that the strongest one under Shiki was a pirate with a bounty of nearly 200 million belly. At this time, Titan was exercising, carrying weights, grabbing the 2 chains connected to the naval battleships, and pulling the 2 battleships forward. I thought it would be easier after coming out of Ruskana Island, but I didn't expect that it would be a more terrifying monster concentration camp. It brought a lot of pressure to Titan's heart, especially Lox D. Jiback. In front of him, Titan felt like a small boat in a storm, about to be overturned at any time. Hades also joined in. Anyway, they captured enough naval warships. Get stronger, get stronger. News of Karthus' entry into the money exchange spread inadvertently. The pirates at the bottom may not know what's going on, and they can only guess that the people behind the money exchange can be said to have great hands and eyes. There are some sighs that even a great pirate like Death Chanter Karthus can convince. It also makes the gold exchange's position in Hachinos more stable. If someone keeps making trouble, the gold exchange will not be able to open on this island. The original guardian of the gold exchange was the Hades sent by the kingdom of Kronos. They were powerful, but they did not have enough prestige, and they could not deter the large number of big pirates on the island. You must know that the wealth exchanged for gold is very huge. In just a few days, the amount of Baileys flowing out has exceeded 10 billion Baileys. What an amazing wealth! It was enough to attract the attention of many pirates. what they didn't know was that the actual amount of money flowing out of the money exchange exceeded 30 billion. It's hard to imagine how much treasure Hachinos has gathered, with the stronger Karthus guarding the place. Coupled with his influence and interactions with many powerful pirates, the position of the gold exchange became stable. Being able to bring out so many Pele, and the powerful background behind him makes people dare not offend him easily, and for the few big pirates who knew the inside story, this meant one thing: Hades has conquered Karthus, the Deathsinger. It had only been a week since he joined the Rocks Pirates. This kind of efficiency is really amazing. Karthus is no small character, as a core figure in Jaeger's old department. Although Karthus has been relatively low-key in recent years, his influence has not diminished. Hades has been recognized by Karthus, and Jaeger's old army is naturally biased towards Hades. It is not that no one has wanted to subdue Jaeger's old team over the years, but it is a pity that it cannot be done. No one in the Rocks Pirates today can do it except Rocks himself. The next few days were very peaceful. Every day I was either exercising or competing with Newgate, Charlotte Lingling and others to hone my strength. I am also more familiar with these future big people and know many people. Chapter 77 Rules of Recruitment Conference. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hachino's annual event is here as planned. It's so lively. Standing high up, Hades looked at the crowds of people in the distance. Tens of thousands of pirates poured into the entire island every day. All kinds of commercial trade are really bustling, and even Hades' gold exchange has become a little crowded. Hachino's is the center of the new world, because this is the home of the strongest and most terrifying pirate group in the world, the Rocks Pirates. It's the busiest day of the year in Hachino's. The annual recruitment meeting to recruit members was held on the island. Pirates from all corners of the new world will flock here to compete for a spot to join the Rocks Pirates. As long as they join the Rocks Pirates, it will undoubtedly be a step forward for them, even if it is just for fame. This conference will be a top stage. Of course, if you want to join the Rocks Pirates, you have to go through extremely brutal fighting, and every year will be a blood feast. Pirates who think they are not strong enough will not participate. Just watching the battle is a kind of enjoyment for crazy pirates like them. This is your first time here. You'll get used to it after seeing a lot. I just don't know what outstanding young pirates will emerge this time. Edward Newgate was not too fond of such fighting. Even though he emerged from it, even if they managed to survive, they would be nothing more than cannon fodder. The only ones he could care about were those who performed extremely well in this conference. It seems that I am quite lucky and have avoided a lot of trouble. Hades chuckled. Gula la la. Hades, don't be joking, you have already experienced a fight. Hades' words made Edward Newgate laugh. There was such a big fuss at that time. Let's go. As the crew of the Rocks Pirates, we need to all show up. Every time, many pirates challenge us, and we have no right to refuse. Ah. Hades already knew the rules of the Rocks Pirates: respect strength and carry it out to the end. Like Hades, Titan, and Charlotte Lingling, if they participate in the recruitment meeting, they will definitely come out on top, challenge the leaders of the Rocks Pirates to replace them, and then reach the top, and this also loses the sense of expectation, because the final winner is too obvious. Therefore, for those who have reached a certain level of strength, Rocks D. Jiback will personally recruit them, or let his subordinates recruit them. Skipping the recruitment meeting, most of the pirates recruited in the recruitment conference are cannon fodder, and only a few pirates can stand out. If Hades participated, he would be able to kill them all with the power of the death fruit. Some people who were originally outstanding and capable of growing up will be killed, which is detrimental to the development of the Rocks Pirates. The Rocks Pirates seem to be very chaotic, but there is an ultimate order in the chaos, which maintains the development and growth of the Rocks Pirates. Although the so-called internal friction exists, it is not absolute. Ah ha ha ha. Is this the strongest man in the world? It's so scary. I don't even have the desire to take action in front of him. I'm going to be out of breath. Hachino's was extremely lively, with a large number of pirates yelling at each other. At this time, a group of people came towards them, and all the pirates started to get excited. The main members of the Rocks Pirates are here. The leader was naturally Rocks D. Jiback, who walked towards the pirates with a bold smile and an endlessly terrifying aura. As always, he was as powerful as ever and as domineering as if the apocalypse were coming. covering the entire island in an instant, and his terrifying aura shocked countless pirates. The same goes for the several kings who followed him, including John, Silver Axe, Wang Ji, Shiji, Edward Newgate, Charlotte Lingling and many other pirates with the potential to be kings. Unleash your spirit. Hades naturally followed the local customs. Even strong men without overlord-like domineering energy still release their own powerful aura. The terrifying auras were released simultaneously, and the impact was terrifying. The whole sky was covered with dark clouds and there was lightning and thunder. Nature seems to be shaken by many wills, as if a natural disaster is coming. These horrific appearances together form a historic picture of all villains, the tyranny and majesty of the Rock's pirates completely shocked all the pirates. The unmatched power and momentum frightened the world government and navy, as well as many of the participating countries, who were secretly observing it. Facing the navy's targeted raid, the Rock's pirates will surely launch a crazy counterattack, just after the recruitment meeting is held. At that time, whether it is the navy, the world government or the alliance countries, they will all be potential enemies of the Rock's pirates. The power displayed by the Rock's pirates is so terrifying that some of the participating countries have even begun to transfer their population and wealth to prepare for a comeback. The destruction of the kingdom of Crotia sounded the alarm in their hearts. The world government and the navy cannot be trusted either. The Rock's pirates are simply unstoppable and even more terrifying than the giant pirates 50 years ago. Everyone swallowed their saliva and looked at this terrifying pirate group. All the cadres and core members of the Rock's pirates are here, and even the most ordinary members are impressive. After all, even if the Rock's pirates don't count the affiliated pirate groups and affiliated forces, they are still a super legion with 8,000 people. It can be said that it gathers the elites of the entire new world. Even cannon fodder is only seen by those strong. Putting it on the sea, each one has extraordinary strength, and mastering domineering is the absolute foundation. Rock smiled like a devil. Kids, let me see your strength. The rules are simple. Kill 10 people and bring their heads to us, and you can become a member of the Rock's pirates. Fight to your heart's content. As soon as Rock's words came out, the entire square seemed to be quiet. Even the members of Rock's pirates were a little surprised. Is this a little too easy? Different from the previous rules, the fighting in the past was more intense. The number of participants reaches tens of thousands each time. The Rock's pirates often have quotas for recruiting members, and generally only 400 to 500 people are recruited. The number of pirates this year is particularly large, and they are also attracted by the Rock's pirates' strong record of plundering a country. After all, in comparison, the Rock's pirates in previous years were indeed a bit low-key. At a glance, Hades guessed that the number of pirates participating was about 30,000. Based on this, 3,000 people would eventually survive and join the Rock's pirates. This means that the recruitment difficulty of the Rock's pirates has been reduced, and these pirates have a greater chance of joining the Rock's pirates. You only need 10 heads to join the Rock's pirates. Isn't it easy? Although 10 people have to be killed, for pirates, it is normal to do whatever it takes. There has never been a rule that you have to kill with your own hands, even if someone else kills you. Chapter 78 Chaotic Fighting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The war is about to begin, and we need more cannon fodder. Only those who survive the next war can truly be considered one of us. Hades' words awakened Newgate beside him, and also caused other pirates to react. Of course we can recruit all these pirates, but in this case, the threshold for the Rock's pirates is lowered, and screening is necessary. The Rock's pirates need elites after all. 8,000 pirates may seem like a lot, but compared to the 200,000 troops deployed by the Navy in the New World, there is a huge gap. In fact, the Rock's pirates, not counting the many affiliated pirate groups and affiliated forces, really gather together and are not something the Navy can resist head-on. Someone started to take action, and after reacting, they directly killed the pirates on the side. I'll kill you. Kill him. In just a few seconds, the entire square was in chaos. The pirates were fighting crazily one by one. The pirate who was the first to complete his goal was secretly attacked and killed by another pirate before he could bring his head to the Rock's pirates. Ha! Your loot belongs to me. Smart people did not waste their energy in vain and directly took away the heads obtained by others. The insidiousness, cunning, and evil of pirates are vividly displayed in the chaotic battlefield. How to bring the loot to the Rock's pirates is also a problem. the atmosphere on the battlefield was a bit strange, as he was secretly guarding against all the pirates around him, all of whom were enemies. Some people closer to the Rock's pirates have already completed their goals and left the battlefield. Some pirates directly targeted the pirates watching from outside. Among these pirates, except for the affiliated pirate groups of Rock's pirates, many of them believed that they were not strong enough and were just watching the show, but they did not expect that they were being dragged into the water. It will undoubtedly be easier to deal with them. With the first one, others have shifted their goals and no longer deal with these powerful enemies. The scope of the battlefield expanded as a result, and no one knew how many pirates were drawn in. The development of things was beyond their expectations. Hades thought that the actual number of survivors would be lower than he originally expected. Judging from this situation, the number of pirates who will eventually join will be much higher than he expected. Now the island of Hades accommodates hundreds of thousands of pirates. After this accident, countless pirates and the pirate group were affected. Even some pirate groups affiliated with the Rock's pirates who were watching were also involved. The affiliated pirate group can only mean that their captain is strong, but it does not mean that the strength of these crew members is difficult to deal with. The situation became more chaotic, and more pirates from the original contestants were able to survive because there were more weak targets, and those ordinary pirates who were involved also had the opportunity to join the Rock's pirates. The trial that originally only took about half an hour to end lasted for 4 hours. Pirates continued to successfully join the Rock's pirates, and the number of the Rock's pirates expanded rapidly, suddenly reaching more than 20,000, the equivalent of at least more than 200,000 pirates were involved. And the actual number may be even more. Many powerful pirates were not satisfied with just killing 10 people. They went crazy and wanted to show their potential and value as much as possible. Many pirates who were attracted by curiosity never returned and became a stepping stone for others to join the Rock's pirates. The entire Hades island suddenly became a little empty, and blood and corpses could be seen everywhere. Damaged buildings can be seen everywhere. Cruel survival law. Life is not worth mentioning at this time. Some people also saw the horror of the Rock's pirates for the first time. Ahahaha. Get ready to have a banquet. Welcome our new companions to join us. Looking at the new faces that are either proud, panting, fearful, or excited, Jiback opened his arms and laughed excitedly, as if he wanted to embrace the whole world. Who cares about the dead pirates? It is their honor to serve as a memorial to the establishment of the Rock's dynasty. They may remain nameless throughout their lives, living as the residue of the sea. The Rock's pirates will establish an immortal foundation, and they will have their share of the contribution. That there is nothing more joyful than a banquet. As Rock's voice echoed, all the pirates began to cheer crazily. This concludes the Rock's Pirates annual recruitment meeting. After some brutal competition, the number of members of the Rock's pirates increased dramatically, which put great pressure on the Navy, who got the news: there are many pirates in the New World. Although the number of pirates has decreased due to fighting each other, the strength of the Rock's pirates has increased. In this chaotic world, the number of pirates has been increasing. As long as the Rock's pirates are not eliminated, the number of dead pirates will recover in a few years. In fact, with the rise of the Rock's pirates, the number of pirates has increased every year. Hades Island is brightly lit at night, and the entire island exudes a carnival atmosphere. Although the difficulty of recruitment has been reduced this time, the square at the port is still the main battlefield. A pirate who truly has confidence in his own strength will not bother to deal with the weak. The radiance on his body was still difficult to hide, and the main members of the Rock's pirates were all seeing it. Many ambitious cadres have set their sights on them, hoping to subdue these outstanding young pirates. As long as they grow up, they will become generals. And this is also the simplest way to develop power. In terms of loyalty, you can also trust because it is cultivated by yourself. Hades held a bottle of red wine and walked through the pirates. The noise around him didn't seem to have anything to do with him. Some pirates had already begun to resolve their conflicts in the carnival, and they didn't care about anything once they drank too much. After this banquet, some members will definitely die. This is too common, and many conflicts can be seen in the days after Hades joined the Rock's pirates, especially after being drunk. Sometimes I really don't care about anything. Titan followed Hades, and the passing pirates gave way along the way. The two are undoubtedly the latest rising stars of the Rocks. Pirates. They are young monsters who have become famous on the head of the Vice Admiral and were personally invited by Rock's Jiback, not something they can offend easily. Moreover, their achievements are in full view of everyone. Even the great pirate Raymond, who has a bounty of over 200 million, cannot stop Hades from attacking, facing monsters. All they can do is keep a wide berth. Chapter 79 Randy Orton's Revenge. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Want a drink? Hades came to the side of a young pirate and sat down, the wine bottles clinking on the table. It's Randy Orton, a rookie pirate with a bounty of 50 million Baileys. It seems that Hades has taken a liking to him. The pirates not far away saw Hades's behavior and saw Hades' purpose. What a lucky guy. I'm jealous, being spotted by a big pirate. If you can follow the big pirate, you will naturally get more of the wealth plundered in the future. Don't underestimate this guy, he killed more than 300 pirates today. Yes, this guy's methods are very ruthless. Find me? The young pirate named Randy Orton paused and looked at Hades on the side for a moment, a little in disbelief. Yes, I am very optimistic about you. Do you want to follow me? Hades clinked the wine bottle with the wine glass in Randy Orton's hand, smiled, and directly extended his invitation. Randy Orton is a talent favored by Hades. He has strong combat power and is considered a very good pirate among this group of new pirates. His performance is not the best. There are many pirates who are more powerful than him. There are also several pirates with bounties of over 100 million and more than 200 million belly, but he is young enough, sharp, has a ruthless fighting style, and has rich fighting experience. When attacking an opponent, one can always discover the enemy's flaw in a short period of time, or create a flaw, strike later, and then kill with a fatal blow like a poisonous snake. He was like a ruthless killer who liked to use any means necessary. Many pirates were killed by his brutal attacks. Hades has no idea what Randy Orton has been through, but those snake-like pupils seem to be full of hatred, and his eyes were full of arrogance, indifference, cruelty, and even anger. Hades likes Randy Orton's fighting style very much and likes Randy Orton's unruly eyes. Randy Orton, who is only 19 years old, still has a lot of potential that can be tapped. If he were 2 or 3 years older, he would be the most terrifying existence among these new pirates. Even in his strong heart, Randy Orton was very surprised when faced with Hades's recruitment. He witnessed Hades' behavior from beginning to end on the day he joined the Rocks Pirates, a younger and more terrifying monster than him. This is an existence that he cannot surpass no matter how hard he tries. The reality is so cruel. Facing Hades, he has no idea of transcendence in his heart, because it is impossible. He seems to have no reason to refuse. It's clear that something is moving inside Randy Orton. There's nothing wrong with following such a monster. I'd like you to do something for me. As he spoke, Orton crushed the wine glass in his hand and clenched his fists so tightly that even the glass was crushed into dust under the powerful force. Oh. What's the matter? Hades was a little curious. Randy Orton looked like a man with a story, otherwise he would not have such a cruel fighting style. The anger hidden in his heart was even more dazzling, like a bright light. Kill Levesque and Ric Flair for me. When he thought of those two people, Randy Orton felt a fire burning in his heart. He was extremely angry and a strong murderous aura erupted from his body. I don't know what those two did to make Randy Orton, a young pirate, become like this. What kind of evil thing it was. Levesque? Ric Flair. Hades thought about these two names silently, and they seemed a little familiar. There was a fragrance in his ears, and Hades couldn't help but turn his head when he felt the familiar scent. A figure appeared behind Hades. Her sexy figure attracted the attention of many pirates, and their greedy eyes fell on the exposed parts of her body. Levesque, a member of the Rocks Pirates, has a bounty of 230 million. Ric Flair, a member of the Rock Pirates, with a bounty of 210 million. Faced with Hades' surprised look, Xia Qi smiled easily. They are a notorious duo who like to plunder the wealth of fellow pirates. Not many people even like them in the Rocks Pirates. It's just that most of them will only attack rookie pirates. Relying on their own strength and status as a member of the Rocks Pirates, not many pirates can take revenge. A year ago, they used treasures and devil fruit treasures as bait, attracting many young pirates and stepping into the traps they set in advance. In the end, most of the pirates were wiped out, and all the treasures and supplies were taken away by Levesque and Ric Flair. Only a few pirates survived, and you should be one of them, Randy Orton. Xia-Chi looked at Orton and smiled. Her words brought Randy Orton directly back to the tragedy many years ago. He was one of these young pirates, and it was this encounter that taught Orton a painful lesson and paid a heavy price. He actually went to sea a year ago and established his own pirate group, yearning for freedom and setting sail for adventure. When they got the news about the treasure, they were very excited, but they didn't expect that it was indeed a preset trap. Facing two powerful pirates, they had no power to resist. In the end, except for himself, the entire pirate group was wiped out, making Randy Orton's hard work in vain. Even he was almost killed, but he survived in the end. This made him realize the cruelty of this sea. If he wanted to survive in this sea, he had to become stronger, more cruel than other pirates, and win by any means. Shaki's appearance made Hades very happy, and her information gave him an idea of what Randy Orton had been through. I'll help you kill those two people, of course there's no problem. Hades' eyes were fixed on Randy Orton's, looking at the hatred that could not be concealed. But, can this really relieve your hatred? Point 2 Pirates with a bounty of 200 million belly are not a difficult task for him. Now, he can handle them at any time. You should take revenge yourself. Kill them with your own hands and blow their heads off. Hades' voice echoed in Randy Orton's ears, making him gradually calm down. How should I do? Randy Orton gritted his teeth. Hades was right. Asking others to help was not considered true revenge. He needed to take action himself. However, his current strength is far from enough, and he is only slightly famous now, and those two people are the leaders of the Rock's pirates, and they also have many people under them. Of course you have become stronger. I will give you 3 years. During this period, you don't have to worry about those two people targeting you. I'm very optimistic about you. If you still can't kill them after 3 years, then I can only say that I was wrong about you. Believe me, even if those two people surrender to other monsters, I will carry them for you. Hades held the wine bottle in one hand and the wine glass in the other, poured himself a glass and drank it all in one gulp. Want to see what Randy Orton would choose? If he was asked to take action, he would still accept Randy Orton. In this case, Randy Orton's rating in his heart will be lowered, indicating that this man is nothing more than that and cannot be used for much, but the chance of this is very small, and Hades already knows what choice he will make. He could feel Randy Orton's fervent fire of revenge burning in his heart. Chapter 80 Batista. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'm going to kill them with my own hands. Orton has determined his will and can't wait to tear them apart. Your Highness. Orton's title shows that he decided to surrender to Hades and become Hades' subordinate. Hades' status is extraordinary. Your Highness is the title given to Hades by the Titans, and it has now spread. It's like the title the Navy gave Hades, a bounty, Son of Death. Son of Death directly corresponds to Hades' ability and the identity of Jaeger's son, then why not the Son of Death? Everyone knows that God is a forbidden word for the world government, and only the world's nobles are descendants of gods. Please give me your advice in the future. Hades was happy, because Randy Orton was the first pirate he conquered. It can be said that Karthus is mostly influenced by his father, and he also relied entirely on his own strength to conquer Randy Orton. Hades' attitude also made Randy Orton feel a little comfortable, not as arrogant as he imagined. It was very different from what he had seen before. Can you count me in? At this time, a slightly rough voice sounded from the side. Turning around, he saw a pirate who was 5 meters tall with a naked and muscular upper body, with a fierce face. He is very difficult to mess with at first glance, but in the eyes of Hades and Titan, that's just it. Batista. Randy Orton was a little surprised when he saw this pirate and couldn't help but call out his name. Oh. Do you know each other? Hades was a little curious. In fact, he also recognized the pirate who stood up. Dave Bautista has a bounty of 60 million baileys, and Orton is a bit higher. He is also a young pirate that Hades likes. It's just that Hades' previous attention was all on Orton, and he didn't notice Batista's presence. Hades' main target this time is actually Randy Orton. Compared with other big pirates, his competitiveness is actually not high. If given the chance, Hades would definitely extend his olive branch. Listening to what he just expressed, it seemed like this guy came to the door by himself. Batista, he suffered the same fate as Orton. They should still be the same group of survivors. Xiaoqi crossed her arms and smiled while recalling the information about Batista. In fact, she had already noticed Batista's existence just now. Yes, Orton and I met at that time, but we only met once, and we went our separate ways after that. I only occasionally heard rumors about him. Batista was a little reserved in front of Hades, no longer the terrifying beast-like fighting appearance he had today. Being able to recognize oneself in front of an absolutely powerful person is a necessary rule for survival in this sea. Youth is also an advantage of Hades. Comparing each other, this allows them to clearly realize the gap between themselves and Hades, whether it's strength or potential. People like Shurji are powerful, but the basics are the same as them at the beginning. He is an ordinary pirate who became famous and performed well when he joined the Rocks Pirates. This is actually not much different from them. They are also likely to rise rapidly in just a few years. Judging from this point, Hades is one step ahead of Shurji and the others. Those two guys are also my targets. In this case, let's take one each. The painful experience can make people realize the reality more clearly. Batista joined the Rocks Pirates to become stronger, but the Rocks Pirates also need shelter. The appearance of Hades was just right for Batista. He heard Hades talking to Randy Orton. Likewise, he was also eager for this opportunity, an opportunity to kill those two bastards with his own hands. No problem. Hades nodded. Someone just brought it to him, why should he refuse? Revenge. In this sea, stories like this always appear repeatedly, but they remain everlasting. It's been a year. They should have forgotten you too. Next, we have to work hard and give them a surprise. If it were later, we might not have a chance. The next war would be very cruel. Hades picked up the wine glass, clinked a glass with them and reminded them, and drank it all in one gulp. Shaki and Titan were witnesses, witnessing Hades beginning to openly develop his own power. Karthus's surrender was not public, and not many people knew about it. The banquet was still going on, and Hades quietly left, taking Titan with him and his two new subordinates. Xiaoqi did not follow, as she seemed to have other things to do. The work of the Rock Pirates Intelligence Organization is very busy and not easy. A large amount of news comes from all over the world every day, requiring intelligence personnel like them to analyze and organize it, especially about the Navy. Now Xiaoqi is still in the training stage of intelligence ability. After a few more years of hard work and training of intelligence personnel of his own, he can begin to master the power of intelligence as easily as his mother. Nix, this time I came here just to meet Hades. As an intelligence officer, she should not be exposed to the public. The Rocks Pirates Intelligence Organization has its own secret base. The intelligence power of the Rocks Pirates is an important target of the Navy and the world government. He went through a lot of fighting, and his main enemies were the agents of the world government and the intelligence personnel of the Navy. The information power of the Rocks Pirates has been able to develop to the point where it is now, just by killing it step by step. Today, the villa where Hades lives is connected to some of the surrounding land and the coast. They are all enemy territory of Hades, and also serve as the base of Hades' forces in Hachinos. Hades has his own plan for the development of his power, and for the time being, he will develop in Hachinos. As his power expands, Hades will definitely want to go out and find a piece of land as his base. When the time comes, Hades will return directly to the kingdom of Kronos.